Did Enki leave an emergency preparedness plan or instructions to survive Nibiru's crossing? Well, before Enki left, and I wouldn't expand on the living aspect. Before he left, he, with the blessing of Enlil, did choose someone to keep their legacy while they are gone and until they return. And that's enough for the moment.
A multiple-part question. Why are you and your books and your amazing and indispensable research not required study in all major universities today? And
the answer is not up to me, but why don't you, each one of you, write to their local university and ask the question? I get letters from fans that enclose some clipping from their local newspaper or some magazine and say, this item, this discovery, this thing is exactly what you said in your book, this and this. And I write them back and say, it's nice to know that, but why don't you tell it in a letter to the editor of the newspaper? Why do you tell me that I'm right? Tell it to the newspaper and its readers, and I encourage you to do that. Let's read this.
The new picture of Phobos with the blue area, doesn't it look like a picture of Enki? Some like that, the Nazca lines in Peru. I see a face.
No. I don't know. I didn't see a face. But it's definitely metallic. How did you learn to read or decipher the clay tablets? I devoted a lifetime to it. So there are some, by now there are courses. When I started, Sumerian was not a major or recognized separate subject. And I took some courses at various universities. I taught myself. I pored over books, I pored over tablets. There are various manuals. I think some of them are now on the internet. I think if somebody wants to do it, it's easier than when I started. Why did they leave Earth? Are they still here? Well, we keep asking the same questions. I think somebody said here, read the Lost Book of Enki, read The End of Days. Why are they keeping information from us, or the government? Well, we discussed that. Where does Yeshua HaMashiach, the Messiah, Yeshua is Hebrew for Jesus, fits into the return of the Anunnaki? I deal with that in the End of Days. Which ancient languages do you recommend to study for more understanding? I would recommend to start with Hebrew. Something about the Vedic text. I did not talk about it today. Again, something I did not talk about. I heard, anonymous, I heard there are space stations on the dark side of the moon. Do you think there is? Well, there's no question of thinking. I mean, are there or aren't there? I don't know. Could there be? The answer is yes. Are there? I don't know. Would you describe what the Anunnaki individuals looked like? Well, first of all, my books are filled with their images, so it's easy to see how they looked. But if sometimes the question is phrased differently and says, I'm asked, do they look like us? And I say, no, we look like them. Yes? There's the question.
I think she's talking about the Pisces.
Well, it's one or two more because we are past our deadline. What inspired you to dedicate your life to this? Well, it's a long story. I asked the question as a schoolboy, but
The rest of
one more.
To yourself.
Just any one more. The same?
No, it just doesn't pertain to yourself.
It's a question about another book.
Yeah.
That's too personal. Well, somebody says here, as I recall, your evidence indicates the last crossing around 400 BC. Do you therefore anticipate the next crossing around 1200 years from now? And there's some calculation here, where if the last was not 400 by 565 BC, then, well, the orbit got shorter. I also deal with that in the end of days. The orbit is now maybe 50 years, not 3,600. So you deduct this from that, is what, around 2,900. Well, if you live like Methuselah, you'll make it. Well, thank you all.